Hello and welcome to this video. Here you see a challenge lock made by Boris, or zbzzn, and it has some very evil pins inside. This lock was sent to me by Red Cat Imaging, so Tom, thank you very much for this lock. And it comes with two keys, the original key in blue from Boris, and this was made from Tom. Both keys are 3D printed. That's the more stable version, but it's still a little bit fragile, and I will show you the key in the plug once the lock is open. So, very challenging challenge lock, and I've only picked it, I've only managed to pick it open 4 times now, and I really spent a lot of hours in trying to understand this lock. I don't have a recipe yet to get it open in a reliable manner, so what I will do in this video is I will keep the camera running while I'm attempting to pick it, and if it takes too long I will cut out the boring parts and just show you the highlights until it's open. So let's start. This is I tried a lot of different configurations with tensioning and picks, and that turned out to be the best or most successful. So let's start. Very soon you can achieve a deep fall set, and then it's really hard to recover. I think I can somehow recall the pins in this lock, and I'm very excited to see the pins in person, so to speak. Okay, so now we have achieved this ridiculous deep fall set, as you can see. We need to identify the pins that's still blocking the shear line. I have to help the plug to turn back manually by pulling on a tension wrench. And your first pins have dropped, and that's the usual behavior. When you found the pin that needs to be set, you have to turn the plug back manually, and you have to turn it back so far that other pins drop, and then you have to basically start over again. But sometimes, I've managed to pick it open 4 times now. Somehow I managed to work around this problem and to get it picked. But I don't know what I have done, and so I have to work again on this lock. So I changed picks to a deforest half diamond, because the last 2 times I managed to get it open with that pick. So you can see it's not a really exact science. It's a little bit of guesswork and hoping, and it's one of the rare cases where it's open. One of the rare cases where I'm really happy when this lock is done, and it's done. So now let's look inside. I want to avoid to lock it back up, because as I said, the key is not really stable, or maybe it's stable, but I'm afraid that I break it because it looks fragile. Okay, I used this follower that Tom has made for this lock. That should work. Pins are pointing upwards. Okay, keep fingers crossed. Yeah, that's very crunchy. Alright, oops, sorry, need this pinning tray. Okay, key pin number 1 is serrated. Key pin number 2 is standard. I need a tweezers. 3 is standard. 4 is consisting of 2 parts, like a master wafer. Then we have 5, very deep serration, like a spool actually. I think that's an overset trap, and number 6 is standard. Let's look at the plug. We have some modifications here. 1 is enlarged and threaded, 2 and 3 are standard, 4 is also standard, 5 is also enlarged, not as much as 1, and 6 is standard as it looks like. So now let me get out the drivers. Hope this will work without too much trouble. Strange sound comes out of this lock. Okay, so one is serrated. Two is a 2-part. Yeah, it's a 2-part pin. It's like a T-pin and a hollow part on top. Oops. 3 is a spool. Okay. Oh, I think I broke number 4, because here you can see, I will show you this in a close-up later on, because this pinny thing is somehow I will show it to you later. So 5 is a spool and 6 is a spool. So I will keep the springs in for now. So let's have a closer look to the pins. Seems I have managed to break this pin here. Goes away around like this. So let's have a quick look to the pins in general, and then we have a closer look to that one. So for the key pins we have serrated in 1, standard in 2, 3 and 4 are also standard, and we have another serrated in 5 and a standard in 6. The drivers serrated in 1, then this evil key pin, evil driver in number 2. So you can see it has a very thin part here away from the shear line. So when you pick this, then the shear line is here, and you get this deep fall set, and So how does this work actually? Let me think about it off camera, and I will tell you my thoughts. We have a spool in 3 and this poor broken pin here in 4 in 4, then a spool in 5 with a very sharp edge, and another type of spool in 6. Actually, this would make more sense like so, or no, I don't know. I think it came out like this with a round part towards the shear line. So I have a picture of the pins, how they should look like. Let me take this picture and compare it to what I've here in this. So here's the picture that Tom has sent along with this lock, and you can see there are 2 errors, meaning that the 2 pins here have to be swapped in order to be oriented correctly in the lock. So the T-pin should go towards the spring, and the hollow pin needs to go towards the shear line or towards the key pin. So the picture is actually wrong. The pins have to be swapped, but that's the way the pins came out of this lock. And I watched again the disassembling part of my video, the first part of my video, and they came out like this. I'm 100% sure. So that means that the lock was assembled as this picture indicates, and not as it should be. So then it would make much more sense. So the correct orientation would be like so, which means if you pick the lock and you get a false set because the shear line is now here, it's very hard to recover because this pin is hollow, and you need to turn back the plug all the way until this pin can pass the shear line. But beside of this, I'm guilty in having broken this poor little pin, so I can try to make a replacement pin for this lock, or I can also send it back to Boris to let him repair his lock. Maybe Tom, you can advise what I should do. But before I close, I will try to use the key, see how it works. Let me quickly reassemble the plug. Ah, look at that, it's also hollow. Okay, where is the key? I managed to get this key working again in this lock. There was a bit of burr in the plug from picking and using a tension wrench. I could fix this, and now key works nice and smooth again. You can see, clears the shear line, very nice. And yeah, it's actually awesome work to have a 3D printed key. It's really cool. Yeah, and I can also demonstrate to you the expected mechanism of these split pins. So according to the corrected image from Tom, and also according to my understanding, the hollow pin goes in like so in the chamber, and you can see it clears the shear line. But now the T-pin goes on top of it with a needle part inside the hollow part. And now assume that all the chambers are picked and have cleared the shear line. then this chamber here will cause a false set. And I think it's not an easy game to pick this chamber by just pushing the pin upwards, because they catch nicely inside each other. You probably rotate back the plug manually to eliminate the overlap between the two pins, and if they are perfectly above each other, then you can push the pin upwards and cause the hollow pin to pass through the shear line and finally get the lock picked. So that's a very cool, very clever idea to make picking harder and more interesting. Alright, so that's basically it from this lock. Sorry for the broken pin. I think I'll try to make a replacement pin, and we'll reassemble the lock according to this corrected image and according to how these pins are supposed to work. Yeah, and then I will send it along. So Tom, thank you very much for sending this lock to me, and Boris, thank you very much for making it. It's a great idea with these split pins. So thanks for watching, happy picking, and bye bye.